is Chip Heisler. I'm the market analyst for InnLink, and Pam Waldron is out of town this week, so I'll be your host for this morning's webinar. The topic this morning is PCI Compliance, and on the phone with us is Marie. Let me get to the top. Is Marie Ainsworth. She's our product manager for here at InnLink. Marie, you with us?
I am. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Let's go ahead and start, Marie, and I'll control the slides for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chip. Okay, well, today's topic, as Chip did mention, is PCI Compliance. And I think we can start by just kind of saying, what does PCI Compliance mean? How can you make sure you're doing what's required to protect your guests' credit card information? And how does InnLink fit into that picture? We'll touch on answers to these questions, provide an update on what InnLink is doing to ensure compliance with PCI standards, and provide you with some important tips in terms of what you can do at your hotel to maintain compliancy. So first off, what is PCI Compliance? Around 2006, the major credit card companies joined together to form the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Sometimes it's referred to as PCI DSS, but most often people are just referring to it as PCI standards. Now, the common goal of the credit card companies in forming this was to eliminate the risk and mistreatment of cardholder data. Ultimately, to protect each of us from the bad guys who could get a hold of our credit card number and fraudulently use it to go on a shopping spree or what have you. Initially, this effort was focused on areas outside of our industry, such as retail, but quickly became important to the hospitality industry. And PCI standards apply to any company storing, transmitting, or processing credit card information. We can go to the next slide, Chip. And why is PCI compliance important? Simply put, hotels need to protect their guests' credit card information or be subject to the possibility of fines as well as negative publicity. As quoted in an October 5th, 2009 Hotel News Resource article, upwards of 55% of credit card fraud comes from the hospitality industry, which was a very surprising number for myself. And of that percentage, 80% of the instances occurred at level 4 merchants. Level 4 merchants is a classification of the various business levels in terms of how many credit card transactions are processed each year. And a level 4 merchant has less than 1 million payment card transactions per year, which is where the majority of InnLink hotels fall. And being found in noncompliance can result, as I said earlier, in fines. They do vary by card, but they can be upwards of $500,000. They can also cause increased card processing fees, the loss of ability to accept payment cards, and again, not to mention the unwanted bad publicity. Next slide. So as your partner, InnLink is a part of your solution. We have historically followed the Payment Application Best Practices, known as PABP, which are rules for businesses that don't actually process the credit card. For example, our call center agents are trained to type the credit card number directly into the system when making a reservation instead of writing it down on a scratch pad by their physician to enter later. This way we have no record of the credit card number outside of our system, and therefore it's kept secure. Additionally, no client information is stored locally. All data is on secure servers, and no credit card information on retrieved reservations is visible to our call center agents. We are now taking steps to go to the next level and become compliant with the 12 PCI requirements, which we will review on the next slide. Okay, many of these requirements have been taken care of behind the scenes, but a few will touch you as we will review on the next couple of slides. But if we pause here for a moment, and let's just go through each one of these. The first requirement is to install and maintain a firewall to protect data, and change and do not use vendor-supplied defaults for system passwords. These are two of the items that have been addressed behind the scenes and are transparent to you. Now, number 3, which is protect stored data, we have addressed that by removing the credit card number in our PMS logs, which again is transparent to you but very important for us to be in compliance, and also by deleting the credit card number on the reservation detail within the res matrix 15 days after checkout. We'll go into this one a little bit more on further slides. Number 4, encrypt transmission of cardholder magnetic stripe data. This one is also being addressed and will impact you in that the credit card number that is sometimes on the email transmission, that will be masked on all email transmissions. Number 5, use and regularly update secure systems and applications. And number 6, develop and maintain secure systems and applications. Those are also taken care of behind the scenes and are not impacting you or visible to you in any way. Number 7, restrict access to data to a need-to-know basis. We are accommodating that by developing various user-level accesses within the roles under the securities in Res Matrix. And we are also showing a modal window that will appear on the initial login for a user who's been granted access to see credit card data. When they see this modal window, they will need to agree to the terms and conditions, pretty much saying, I take full responsibility, I know how to treat this information as sensitive data. And when they click OK, they will then be able to see the credit card information. Number 8, which is assign a unique ID to each person with computer access. We are accomplishing that by implementing stronger password policies. And again, we'll go through each of the items that will impact you on further slides. Number 9, restrict physical access to cardholder data. Number 10, track and monitor all access to network resources and cardholder data. And number 11, regularly test security systems and processes. And finally, number 12, maintain a policy that addresses information security. Those are all items that InnLink is taking care of and will not impact you. So although many of these changes are transparent to you, let's take a look at the changes that will impact you, which we are rolling out in a phased approach to make them as seamless as possible. You received information a few weeks ago about changes that were implemented at the end of April. Both of these items go directly back to the need to protect stored data, which we saw on the previous slide. And to restate, they are that the credit card numbers will be available in Res Matrix under the reservation detail for 15 days after the guest's departure, and then the credit card numbers will be deleted from the system. The second was the removal of all credit card information from our internal PMS logs. And while that's not evident to you, as previously mentioned, it was a very important piece for us to implement to maintain compliance. Thanks, Chip. Okay, phase 2 in May will have the following rollout. Credit card numbers will be masked on email transmissions. And again, this goes back to the requirement to encrypt credit card information during the transmission. Credit card numbers will still be included on fax transmission if you receive those today, but this does put the responsibility on you to ensure they are kept secure once those faxes reach your property. Also, a new setting under security, user profiles, and roles will exist to allow a user to view credit card information and to grant access to other people to view credit card information. This ties back to the need to restrict access to data on a need-to-know basis. And we're working internally prior to that rollout to ensure little to no impact to your operations. Phase 3, which will occur in June, if the user has been granted access to view credit card information, a modal window, as I mentioned earlier, will appear to them when they first log in and ask them to agree to the terms and conditions in order to be able to view the credit card information. That is a one-time occurrence, so every time they log in, they will not see that modal window each time, just the first time. Additionally, stronger password policies will be implemented. For example, passwords will need to be at least 7 characters, a mix of alphanumeric, and kind of the standard stuff that you see in terms of having strong password protection policies. And this fulfills the requirement to assign a unique ID to each person with computer access. Now, more information, including dates for these items, will be communicated to you in the very near future, but I wanted to give you a view into what to expect. Okay, next slide. Some helpful tips for you that now that we've seen what InnLink's doing, wanted to share just a few tips so that you would be up to date on what you can do on property to be PCI compliant. And these are just a few suggestions, but using a shredder to properly dispose of credit card documents is very important. Using a lockbox to keep gift credit card information secure. I think we've all been at the front desk of hotels when they've taken the imprint of our card and then they just kind of feed that into an open slotted drawer at their workstation. Always made me feel a little uneasy. So keeping all that information in a lockbox is recommended. Disposing properly of your computer. If it's going to be discarded, you need to work with your IT group and have someone come in to actually get it scrubbed. That's a technical term. That means the data is really, really deleted. Because on your system, when you hit delete, it doesn't really delete. When you go to your trash icon and say delete all deleted items, that still is not deleting it from your hard drive. You have to have your computer scrubbed so that nobody could pick that computer up, and if they knew what they were doing, access credit card information. Also talk to your IT team about storing payment data on a separate secure database with an external firewall if you don't already do this. And the biggest one of all, and one InnLink can help you with, is implement a PMS interface with the CRS so that all credit card data flows through from the CRS to the PMS without the need for human intervention or hard copies of credit card information. Okay, now while the above is true, it's really important to understand that InnLink cannot make you PCI compliant and your PMS cannot make you PCI compliant, but rather these are technology and tools that provide an important piece of your overall solution to maintain compliancy. Now, there's a lot of information specific to hotels and PCI compliancy on the web. So if you go to Google and type in PCI compliance for hotels or something along those lines, you will receive back an enormous amount of reading material. Having said that, I found an article that was an easy read, it was concise, it was very informative. So if you're interested in looking for more information, if you wanted to copy down, or I'll speak it for you, and then anyone who wants to write it down, it might make it a little bit easier. But it's http://www.ahla.com/uploaded center/PCI_brochure.pdf. I know that was a lot, but hopefully you got that down. I do recommend reading it. It offers these 12 requirements that we reviewed today. It also has a pretty cool little self-assessment tests that you can take in terms of finding out how PCI compliant you are today, which could identify some areas that you'd need to focus on. And it provides a list of good questions to ask yourself in terms of how you're running your operations and your business. And again, these questions quickly identify areas where you may need to focus on. Okay, well, I think that concludes my presentation on PCI compliance. I appreciate everyone's time. I hope you found this useful and informative. And Chip, back to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Marie. If anyone has any questions, if you would, type them in to the question area within your log-on box of GoToMeeting, and Marie will be glad to answer any questions you may have. While you're doing that, if there are any questions, but next month, on June 21st, we are going to have our next topic on our InnTouch forum is going to be web tracking and analytics, and I will be hosting and presenting that topic myself, and how do you use Google Analytics and web tracking with your with all your internet activities, whether you're using Google Analytics, you want to learn some tips how to better utilize Google Analytics, how to track your Facebook, how to track what's going on with the booking engine where people are dropping out at step 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So that will be the topic for next week. Does anybody have any questions? Just please type them into the window there. Marie, do you have anything else to add?
I do not, except to just keep a heads up. As we said, we'll be sending additional communication in terms of what's coming down the pike the latter part of this month and into June. And then just appreciate everyone's time once again.
Okay, there's, bear with me here, we got a couple, bear with me here. Yeah, the slide deck is going to be, the slides in this recording is going to be in the knowledge forums on the website, and you'll be able to hear this entire presentation and what Marie had to say. If you would like the raw PowerPoint presentation, please send an email to your account manager, and we'll get you a copy of the PowerPoint slide if you'd like. Let's see. Bear with me here, Marie. Bear with me. Okay, one question from Michael is why is it that we still see credit card numbers on our emailed reservations? Marie?
Just to restate, so Michael is saying that he's still seeing the credit card numbers on the emailed confirmations?
That's
on
correct.
The transmissions. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. That is not to be the case. That was to be implemented. My thought, which I'll follow up on and communicate outwardly, is that it could be in a kind of a rolling rollout to all the properties, and perhaps that hotel just has not been impacted as of yet.
Okay.
But know that it is underway, and it will be affecting all properties, if not already, then in the very short term.
Okay. Is this good for the client? This is from one of the attendees. Is this good for the client? What about the hotels? Are there so many fake and invalid credit cards? How is the hotel protected?
In terms of no-shows and so forth?
Yeah, he just says, how is this?
That would be my take on that question. Now, within the res detail, hotels will still be able to access that credit card information up to 15 days after checkout to accommodate the time frame to, address the no-shows and so forth. And again, it's important to note that these are standards that are not InnLink specific, but that we're rather complying to standards set by the PCI credit card companies.
There you go. Okay. Thank you. Mary Kay is asking, how can a guest be required to enter the CID number from their credit cards into the reservation?
The CID number is something that we are exploring capturing, in which case we would be able to capture that and provide that as well. Today, in today's environment, there's no room to do that within the booking engine or the call center application.
Okay. And then Charles asked another question. There was no mention of wireless in offices trying to be PCI compliant. Is that more on their side?
Yes, it's a good question. And that would be something that would need to be investigated on property with some help probably from IT.
Okay. And if you have any more, yes, as I mentioned, there are a lot of people who would like to get a copy of this PowerPoint. Please contact your account manager. They'll get those to you. Otherwise, you can see a complete recording of Marie in this presentation. That will be downloadable in the morning from our knowledge forums off of the InnLink.com website. Well, I'll tell you what, Marie, that looks like that's all the questions. Again, thank you everyone for joining today, and look forward to talking to you next month on Google Analytics, web tracking, and how to better track and understand your online marketing activities. Thank you very much, and we'll have a good day. Goodbye.